A very good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning, we want to take a look on something very important. Temba Mliswa, who we all know that is an ally of President Emerson Mnangagwa. They've worked together for a very long time. Tamona Achimanyana Amai for a very long time. His sister, Mary, is still the provincial chairperson, Ku Marsh West, and even Akaluza on the other end, Vanom Elevator on the other end. That is how they operate. So what is of importance is that he is weighed in the issue Yana Mike Chimombe. According to the information on the ground at this point in time, Team Chimombe is against Team Lacoste. Because if you look at Wikino Chivayo and how he is operating, he claimed that he's backed by the most powerful men in Zimbabwe. And the most powerful men in Zimbabwe never, ever distanced himself from Chivayo. Which means, at this point in time, as much as we are concerned, Chivayo stands where he stood. And nobody in this country has ever challenged him, except for just a few vagrants. So, if you look at what Mliswa has said right here, he clearly notes that this case is more political than legal. And he also confirmed that there is a third hand which is behind. This then makes us question who ordered the arrest of Chimombe, who ordered the arrest of Mpofu. What is Temba Mliswa trying to tell us right here? Is he insinuating that General Chiwenga caused the arrest or is behind the arrest so as to expose something? This is where we are going. So he says the theatrics are efforts of a hidden hand making a statement of power. Which hidden hand is he talking about right here? Because Chivayo, Chimombe Mpofu are working against Chivayo, which means Chivayo, who claimed equity is backed by the president, very close to number one, which means there is none other than VP Chiwenga who is being pointed out right here. So we can actually have seen Chimombe being given bail. That is a fact. We talked about that issue long back and said Chimombe, according to the case, Yavaka court, he doesn't have anything to answer. According to the charges brought by the to the courts, he doesn't have anything to answer. Which means at this point in time, the only issue must be facing Mpofu. But why are they being kept together in the dungeon? Is it because of they must have companion? Is it because they must have a team such that if something happens, someone knows what has happened to the other? That is something which is very important. Then Mliswa notes something. He says, yet the hidden hand seeks to flex its muscle and flaunt its extravagant leverage in ZANU-PF. So you would understand kuti izvi zvinhu zviri kutaurwa izvi, it's not a reference to number one. It's a reference to another. Who is flexing his muscles in ZANU-PF? We all know who is now flexing his muscles. Number two is flexing his muscles, going everywhere. They are declaring that they are united ever. Remember, they noted the issue yemagandanga. Vakuru vaifamba vari kumusoro uko havasi magandanga. Vese ava vana number one nanachia havana kumboita magandanga. Vaingori vakomana vaimhanya vakabata mapesi emadhara anga ari kumusoro. Magandanga vakomana vaifamba vari mucommand element zvichidzika kuenda kuvakomana vairwa. These are the boys vari kuzvirefer as magandanga takabatana. So you would see that whatever thing which is happening right here, Temba Mliswa is trying to hide his direct attack on VP by mentioning the ex-convict. But Does this attack go to Chivayo? No, it doesn't. Why? Number one, Wikino Chivayo is not a member of ZANU PF, but he is a sympathizer and a supporter of ZANU PF. Wikino Chivayo is not strong enough within ZANU PF structures, but he is strong after the strong men. Ndokunobva power rake. So there is one man who makes him strong within, which means kana mna kutaura ZANU-PF haiswe muhomwe, so that one can wantonly abuse others like this, then it makes it very difficult for the people to understand what is really going on. What is he saying? So you would see that the issue being stressed by Temba Mliswa right here is simple. Is that nyaya iyi vakuru kana mukasachenjera is going to expose a lot. It's going to expose a lot, because definitely it's not ED who is who has ordered that matter be live streamed. There is another person who is being pointed right here by Mliswa, which means that person arikuzviita iyeye is very, very, very powerful, and is doing that to expose Chivayo. And once Chivayo is exposed, the man behind, or the rock where Chivayo is standing, is going to be destroyed. So he has noted that there are so many big corruption cases which have never been broadcasted live, but there is an exception where a certain case is now is now going to be live streamed. Who is going to benefit from that live stream? Imagine if documents started to pour, because the whole matter, the whole matter started by the audios of Chivayo achiimplicata mkuru, and munhu ari kuseri kwezvinhu zvese ndiye mukuru, which means if Chivayo is exposed, nemukuru aita sei? Aexposwa. So you would see that these are tensions which are happening. There is no amount of long paragraphs and tweets which are going to stop whatever which is going to come. The storm is already brewing, and there is nothing they can do to stop it. There is nothing, because this thing, the way it is happening, it's a very clear indication yekutaridza kuti kwatiri kuenda hakusi kunopera zvakanaka. Hakusi kunopera zvakanaka. Ukaona vanhu vakutanga kupinza Mwari, God is not for one person, God is not for that. No, God is the God of justice, and nothing else. Wanatemba, they must leave the name of God in all they are doing. They don't know God. They don't have even an iota of a relationship with God. They must leave God out of their nonsense and their mess. Hakuna munhu anoziva Mwari anosupporta an oppressive regime like this. Hakuna munhu anoziva Mwari wekuti anoona chakaipa and never points out that thing and continues to wine and dine with the oppressors of the people of Zimbabwe. It doesn't happen like that. So you can actually see that this statement is a sympathy. I don't know how to express it. It's a sympathetic statement which is meant to bring some sympathy to Vene, in the hope that the people of Zimbabwe shall join them and say, no, nedzoi tiri pamwe chete tinozviziva kuti muri kupomerwa kana kuti muri kuita sei. But are the people of Zimbabwe going to be sympathetic to this government? Personally, I doubt. It's because everyone knows that these are criminals. Everyone knows that these are crooks. We are dealing with crooks here. We are dealing with criminals. We are dealing with people who have been looting, mismanaging, squandering the economy of Zimbabwe. These are the people we are dealing with. So, in Inahango, I'm so happy that the general is now flexing his muscles and the impact is being felt. Because vaidherera chamisaka vachiti isisu tine masoja, we are the military, we are the air force, we are the prisons, we are the CIO, we are the judiciary, we are everything. Yamen to many manje, judiciary to judiciary. Iona ako majaji yana ake majaji, because they are equally strong and powerful. Iona ako masoja yaka ana ake masoja, iona ako mapurisa yana ake mapurisa, iona masia CIO ako yana ake, because they are equally strong. So yamen to many ke zvino. And now vakuchema because this matter is going to be broadcasted live, and chancellor wavo is going to be exposed because Chivayo clearly mentioned Mukuru, and Mukuru has taken no action. This is the reason why as Zimbabweans we are concerned to say, why is it that somebody points fingers at the highest mountain and nobody cares about that? Papa inzinowa kurumusano gomo. Pairehwa kuti mukanongedza gomo kune zvinoitika, ende Chivhayo akanongedza gomo ndobva mazviignora. Ike zvino izvi zvaakuchipfuka maakuchitanga kugumbuka. He claimed to be protected by the mountains to be. So, are these mountains going to be mountains, or they are going to be destroyed before they become mountains? These people, they are taking us for granted. They've taken us for granted for a very long time. And it's high time they pay for their crimes. And one thing we're happy about is that they are paying for whatever they've done. Slowly but surely, the people of Zimbabwe will start to recognize, understand, and see what we are talking about. So, Vana Mliswa, no matter how they cry, no matter how they write, vanhu ava vari pamwe chete and vachapedzana ikoko, isi tinenge takatarisa. So when they fought Robert Mugabe, they never fought Robert Mugabe because they had better ideas. They fought Robert Mugabe because they had better looting initiatives. Yaiva takuda kumbodyawo kani. Ani muri kuzviona. Tosvika rini tisati tambodyawo to the fullest. And now vakudya. This is the reason why when Operation Murambatsvina inonzi Honde Minda, when it happened, they took all the farms to themselves, and vari kurima sora kumafamu ikoko. Some of them, they are now leasing those farms to white people. Vakapinda vakagreba every equipment yanga iri kumafarms. Ike zvinezvi isisu senyika tisita kuibhadhariswa. They've sent their kids to the best schools. They've been destroyed by bogus policies in the education sector. Dokora achiuya akauya nezvake, ike zvinezvi kwauya umwe anga aripo, ndobva auya nezvake, ike zvino kwautanga zvimwe. Nganzano takatadza curriculum, ngatibvisei tiende kune iyi. Kwauya zvimwe futi, makalanza atadzwa, kwauya zvimwe zvinyowani. Our kids are being affected. Vavo vachinyora Cambridge, which is more stable. For how long are we going to suffer in such a country? Yekuti sisu tiri kupreparewa to be doomed, yet their kids are being prepared for the best. Because ndoda kudza chokwadi, isu takatadza kuenda kuchikoro handiti. We will never compete with their children. Because tinongosvika zvonzi rati vakomana buritsai madoctorate enyu amene kuti munomati chima PhD enyu tione. Ivo vomhanya kubudisa ma-PhD zvobva zvanzi right, you qualify to be ministers, we qualify to be permanent secretaries. Isisu tobudisei takaenda kuma-vocational training center. Tinobudisa chi? Vana vedu ma-grade 7 vanoburitsa chi? Because right now, they don't appoint you on merit. They appoint you on how educated are you on the certificate, on your CV. Your CV counts more than merit. It's no longer about your ideas. The interview, kunzunzi minister, akunzi garai tanga magara pa wakomana mutiudze kuti iwewe tikakuita minister uchagadzira sei nyika. They don't do that. They appoint each other accordingly. Iwewe musangano wakaseva kusvika papi une doctorate weherera unaro nechidegree richaunacho, which means the poor who have been marginalized for a very long time will remain marginalized and will remain backward. We have even seen some people now suggesting kuti uwe kansela unofana kunge une degree. You know, it's not bad, but to a certain level we must understand kuti kansela, kuti anzi kansela must reside in a certain ward. Ndeupiko munhu wacho yeye akadzidza wamuri kuona vachida kuswera vachitenderera mumaward umu vachitsvaga kuita makansela kumaruzevha. Ndosaka uchizoona kuti zvinopedzisira taakuwana vamwe vanhu vekuti they are 100% incompetent and greedy vari kuwana mapositions. I believe kuti governance must not be based on education, but it must be based on ideas and competence. We must test the ideas and competence and the leadership qualities of a person. Then, after we have done that, we bring a team of competent experts in various areas and different areas who then come to complement the ideas which are there. It must not be an issue ekuti akadzidza kudarika umwe ndiani. Forgive me about this, but I'm going to be honest with you. There are so many people very educated but useless. An example is a PhD holder. Watinayo anenge wachinzwa na Dr. Mangudya, Dr. what? Learned but useless and stupid. A professor, Mtuli Ngube, equated to another professor, Jonathan Moyo. Useless professors. If Mtuli Ngube, a charlatan professor, cannot think enough, achikundwa kufunga nemwana we form 4, then who is better than the other? We have to be honest with each other. These kind of policies we are bringing, the point I'm trying to make right here, I'm not attacking education, but I am saying the point is they have destroyed the education sector to a point where your children and my children will never be at the same level with their children, which means vana vedu vacharamba vachitongwa nevana vavo sekutongwa kwatiri kuitwa naivo nevana vavo. We have been exposed to useless education things. Lokuti unonyora wofoira, wonyora wofoira, not because uridofo, but because kwa uri kugara kwacho hakuna chikoro, hakuna ma resources, uri kuverenga maoko ako nenyeredzi mudenga. If I tell you kuti vamwe takaverenga nemwedzi, some people will say tinonyepa. But we did it. Takaverenga nemwedzi kuti munototaimira rajena guru, movesa moto, mochitanga kuverenga so muchita zvekunanganidza. After traveling 27 kilometers to school, 27 kilometers from school, how many kilometers? Wodzoka manheru, wouya woverenga nemwedzi. Imagine such a situation. Yekuti unobva kumba kwakasviba ugodzoka kumba kwakasviba uchienda kuchikoro. Very critical situations we faced. Yet you go to a school, you go to University of Zimbabwe, you'll be told, how many points do you have? And you say, ndakabva ku high school iri kuruzevha, I got 9 points. You are the highest at your school, or you are in the top 10 at your school in terms of points. And you can't practice law at University of Zimbabwe or anywhere in Zimbabwe. You end up uchinoita zvimwe zvimaprograms zvisina basa. One of the most important issues is, do you know kuti maticha mazhinji atiri nawo vanhu vari kuadmitwa kumacolleges as teachers, kumauniversities as teachers, vanhu ivavo kazhinji kacho vanhu vasina kupasa ka1, vakapasa kechi2 kana kechi3, but they are brilliant teachers who are producing good results and best teachers again. And you are even producing doctors and nurses. Go across ma schools, ma A schools. Unaona kune mudhara akanyorera katatu kana, but ari kuproducer ma doctors, ari kuproducer ma nurses, ari kuproducer ma engineers. Yet if you go to use it, you are not given a better program. Because there are certain courses dzakaita selaw dzakagadzirwa vana vavo. Madoctor vanofanira kuita vana vavo. All these important duties and roles vanofanira kuita vana vavo. What about our children? Vana vedu hatitombotaure zvokuti anzi vachaita madoctor in Zimbabwe, because hakutorina masciences acho kuno kumaruzevha. There are no science subjects kumaruzevha kwacho. Unotomaona kuma-selected schools, ma-mission schools zvichikwira. But are our children not supposed to be doctors? Are our children not supposed to be nurses? Not supposed to be to be lawyers? So you would see that Temba Mliswa, whatever fight they are trying to bring right here, these are political battles. Yes, simply confirmed one thing, that these are factional battles being fought right here. It's a matter of fighting to control ZANU-PF. Who is going to emerge victorious? We wait to see. Because isisu hatina chekuwina, hatina chekuluza, because we have lost already. We have lost generations. That is the honest truth. We have lost generations. There are so many people who were brilliant more than me. Vandoziva kuti kana kuri pari panyaya dzechikoro, in terms of chikoro, vakomana vaizivawo kundidarika. But vari kutaka shomwe uko, vari kupfudza mombe, is because we have a crooked system which does not prioritize knowledge, talent, education whatsoever. And it's high time we start to correct this mess. It's high time we start to correct this mess. This is the reason why I'm saying, as it stands right now, never dare to attempt to impose the issues of education or kunzvimbo dzakaita sema councils, ma MPs, and so forth, because you create a war. You create a situation where people will say, okay, so isu vasina kudzidza toita sei, and they will come up with arms, because arms do not know education. That is one of the most important things which we need to know. No matter how we want power, introduce education ku parliament and council and see kuti hamuendi kuhondo here. Because the less privileged, they will say chikoro takachitadza takachishaya, but as long as we have arms, we will fight, and they will fight you. Remember the people who were commanders kuhondo, vese ava vamageneral vatitambudza vese ava vakazodzidza vadzoka kuhondo. Which means you must understand kuti military tactics, some of them are pane pamwe pasingazode chikoro chiri advanced zvakanyanya. So we must make sure that as a nation, we cater for each and every person, not for a few individuals. Up until we bring equality to education, to health, to all sectors, then we start to implement my policies. But without equality, then we are going nowhere. So political battles, within ZANU-PF, they've been confirmed by Temba Mliswa, one of President Emerson Mnangagwa's allies, and is lamenting the third hand, which has caused this matter, Yana Mpofu, to be live streamed, and it's going to expose a lot. We just hope kuti havazoendi vonokumbirana ruregerero nekuseri kuti vakomana vasazvitaura. We wait to see how everything is going to unfold, and it's a very interesting moment we are getting into. Thank you very much, everybody.